Hi guys, and welcome back to another video here at 1000 PS. In front of me I have the Aprilia RS 457. Is she a small package that has a lot in store? We're gonna find out and we're gonna share that with you, so you better stay tuned. Thank you. That's a service I'm talking about. Anyways, my first impression of the Aprilia 457 RS. Overall, I have to say it's a brilliant bike. I feel like it's very well done. There's nothing I can say about it that's really deeply negative. I also have to say the sound itself is pretty impressive. It's not too loud, it's not too quiet. It really has that super sport feeling. As well as the seat position, I feel like I'm really well integrated into the bike. I feel like it's very sporty. It's not uncomfortable. It's like the best of both worlds. You can do it for lap over lap over lap and you don't get tired and your back doesn't ache. So that's a very, very good thing about the bike. I also feel like the braking with the throttle, I have no problems. It's very well done, and I can easily decide of the dose. It's not too rough, it's not too aggressive. So overall, I have to say I'm really, really happy that I got to try this bike. So try yourself and let us know what you think.
The Aprilia RS 457 is the latest A2 class super sport bike from Aprilia, and I finally got the chance to ride it. I first saw it at EICMA, and now I've ridden it here on the Supermoto and kart track. Based on my first impressions, the bike performs very well overall. The only thing that didn't quite work for me was the braking, specifically the front brake, which is really, really firm. I got very little feedback from it, and I was never quite sure, am I braking too hard, am I squeezing too much, or maybe too little? And that uncertainty then carried over into how I handled the bike in corners. It was like, I didn't really know. Can I keep pushing? Do I need to brake now? How much do I need to brake? And all of that usually happens intuitively. So the lack of feedback was definitely noticeable for me, which means I wasn't fully happy with the front brake. The rear brake worked a bit better in my opinion, though it also didn't offer perfect clarity. The screen, the display, works very well. It's easy to read. It might not be the most beautiful or the most modern one out there, but I think it's great. The sound of this bike is absolutely fantastic. I really didn't expect that. But my first impression of the sound was just brilliant. It makes a really nice roar, not too much, not too little, just right. You can clearly hear the RS DNA coming through. All in all, I definitely think it's a great bike, at least based on my first impressions.
The Aprilia RS 457. Here too we find the almost standard parallel twin-cylinder engine with around 450 cubic centimeters. It delivers about 47 horsepower, and you have to say it does its job in a very calm and controlled manner. It also offers a very broad and usable rev range. It's very dynamic and easy to ride. The level of vibration is minimal. You do feel it slightly, but it's never really disturbing. Overall, the engine is very well done. The electronics also work quite smoothly for the most part, no major issues. The engine tuning itself is also nicely sorted. What you do notice, however, and what turned out to be a bit of a problem, is the ABS system. Especially when decelerating or during heavy braking while downshifting, the ABS loses its rhythm and sometimes even completely disengages the brake. There were a few situations where for almost a full second the brake simply didn't respond at all. It happened very suddenly, how it just let go. And honestly, if you want to ride this bike in a sporty way and really brake precisely, hitting that perfect late braking point, then this kind of behavior is definitely a drawback. If, however, you downshift more gently, and avoid generating too much rear wheel slip, then the ABS control works reasonably well and the bike becomes much easier to ride. What's a real shame though is that, especially if you want to use the Aprilia in a more aggressive or sporty manner, although the ABS system can't be deactivated at all. There are bikes where the ABS can be switched off gradually, first disabling rear wheel ABS, then the lift detection, and finally the front wheel ABS. That's not possible here. There's no way to intervene or adjust it, which isn't entirely unusual in the A2 category, where you're a bit more limited when it comes to adjustability. Still, I do wish it were an option. What's really well done is the overall ride dynamics and geometry of the bike. You get good feedback and the bike handles well at a brisk pace. The suspension itself, I have to say, works quite well too. It's not really adjustable though. You do get preload adjustment, which you can tweak a bit, but when it comes to damping, there's not much room to make changes. That's not necessarily a big issue since the base setup is already pretty decent and can be used both for comfort and for sporty riding without major compromises. The braking performance is basically good in terms of stopping power, although the somewhat basic ABS control distorts that a little. Otherwise, you'd be able to say the brakes are really solid. The riding position is heavily comfort-oriented. So if you're looking to ride in a more sporty way, you'll struggle to find a wind-protected or aggressive position. You only really get into a sportier stance by having your arms sharply bent and your back quite hunched. So it has to be said, the bike's fundamental layout is more aimed at a comfort-focused everyday road rider. Those wanting to push the bike more sportily will find it a bit harder, especially due to the ABS settings and the rather basic electronics it comes with. Which is a bit of a shame because the engine, the motor and the whole powertrain actually works really well. It has proper performance, revs out nicely and is genuinely fun. That's why it's a bit frustrating to see the bike held back in other areas, because otherwise it would score very well. Personally, I really liked it overall. If you set those weaknesses aside, you can actually enjoy some pretty decent sporty riding with it.
That's all we've got for you today, guys. I hope you liked it. Share your own opinion down in the comment section. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you very soon.